Maxwell.
Samuel.
Chuck Sics is in the house this week.
Absolutely. On Zoom, but in the house.
Well, it was in my house, technically.
That's true.
And in yours and in his.
Everywhere. Chuck Sics is wherever you are.
He is wherever you get your music, as you like to say. He was an artist you brought to my attention. I'd never heard of him before, but damn.
Yeah. Oofed.
Catchy AF.
Yeah. I think if you've been listening for a little while, I've brought a few of these songs to the Something New segment in the show this year, last year, a few different times. And when the opportunity came out to have a speak, have a chat.
Have a speak.
Have a chat with Chuck. I was like, absolutely. I want to get more sort of in-depth on like where this sound came from, what's behind the songs. And we do just that. And your microphone kicks out halfway in the middle of this bad boy.
It does. And just it's a testament to my professionalism to keep going the way I do.
You push through the pain, Sam. I'm proud of you.
Push through the professionalism.
Well, here's Sam sounding crisper at the beginning than he does at the end, speaking with Chuck Sics.
Maxwell, off the back of his recent single, Arms, we're chatting with Chuck Sics. Mate, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Low-key, I was expecting a little bit more. I went all awkward then, but...
No, for the listeners who aren't
totally
watching the video... For the listeners who aren't watching the video, I just wanted to shout out the two hand up, like Oscar recipient, like hands that went with it. Incredible stuff.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, that's my bad, guys. Do you want to start again, or like, do you want to? I don't know.
No,
I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect.
We're perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, I did full thumbs up on that one.
We're known as a podcast that's neither professional nor cool, so it's a pleasure to be with a fellow awkward man.
Wonderful.
Look, we start the show the same way every week, and that's to dive into your playlists and get an idea of what you've been spinning lately.
Okay. Well, I've been listening to literally just the past couple of days. I've been listening to a lot of Portishead and Beth Gibbons, actually. Just sort of been like kind of fascinated by the whole trip hop thing recently. And I saw a clip of Beth Gibbons performing at the Opera House, which must have been fairly recently. I can't say I've been in the loop around the whereabouts of Beth Gibbons, but I saw a clip in it, and even just like the mix and the sound and the arrangement sound was beautiful. It sounded really, really well recorded, and so it inspired me to take a look into what she's done. And then that took me to Dummy by Portishead, which I've been really enjoying. And it's something, and there's some songs on that I recognize. So yeah, I've been listening to lots of that. I've been listening to, well, Geese.
Yep. The whole
For the
world is.
listeners at home, I put my hands up for that one. Don't really know what that signifies, but I just want to make sure everyone's following along. Yeah, who isn't listening to Geese and Cameron Winter? Listening to the Cocteau Twins as well, Heaven or Las Vegas. Listening to the Blue Nile. Oh, actually, shout out to this Melbourne artist that not that he needs a shout out, but he's doing pretty well for himself. But Way Dynamic in Melbourne has an album called Massive Shoe, which I have been really enjoying.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Way
That's
dynamic.
Yeah, a few things.
Yeah.
A few things here and there.
Controversial opinion. I need your take on it. So, Geese. What am I missing?
What are you missing? You don't like Geese?
I'm not sure I get it.
Okay.
All
right.
And I'm open. I want to like them. I tried to see them at Laneway. The stage was overcrowded. So like, I want to like them, but I don't know if I am there yet.
Well, Geese fans are already very annoying. As like that's what kind of level they're at. You're getting annoying Geese fans now. Well, look, my entry into that whole thing was about a year ago with the Cameron Winter record. And I thought it was hilarious at first. I thought, who's this guy with this goofy voice? singing like super abstract lyrics with really, really weird, dry instrumentals and that sort of thing. And something about it just like really struck out to me. I've always been a big admirer of like the New York thing.
Yep.
You know, the New York thing? Yeah. Enough said.
We all know what we're talking
But
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
everyone knows. Everyone knows. They're all just a little bit off, the New York musicians.
They are.
And I really sort of eventually looked through the goof and heard the substance underneath and really, really, really loved it. And then I was like, yeah, but I'm not gonna like. There's no way this guy's got like more. Like he's got this band Geese. They're probably like okay. And then I went and listened eventually, and I was like, wow, this is like really, really cool. And so I was already a fan when that last album came out, when Getting Killed came out. And I was just like, I was so ready. I was so ready for it. Look, if you don't get it, like you don't, it's the thing. It's the beautiful thing about being a human on this earth. You don't have to get anything.
True.
You know, it's not a fault. It's not a fault
Yeah.
if you don't. It's like it just. I don't know. I find it references a lot of things that I grew up listening to and twists them in this really sort of fascinating way that I really enjoy hearing their take on stuff like the Rolling Stones and Radiohead and the Beatles at times and stuff like that. I don't know. It's really it's good to have like a cool rock band. You know, I grew up being a big rock music fan, and it's like exciting to have a current rock band that really feels like it really speaks to what I was interested in when I was growing up, basically.
Okay. All right. Maybe Cameron Winter's album's my way in then. Yeah.
It's
And
worth a
look,
shot.
yeah. And if you're selling, like, if you selling geese to me doesn't work, I don't think anything will. So that was pretty
They're,
convincing. I'll give it to you.
they're not even paying me either.
No, which is a
Sucks.
shame. Can we have Max? Can
Yeah.
you reach out to Geese's people and just sort that
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. Great.
Cam
Thanks,
and I
Max.
we have a yap all the time. I'll just be like, man, Chuck Sics is
Yeah.
doing some numbers for you.
Yeah.
Let's shift some units.
If they don't pay, then we're cutting that whole bit.
Yeah, we are. It'll be a 5 minute episode.
Yeah.
Well,
They're going for that long.
let's chat a little. Let's chat a little Chuck Sics then. The latest single is "Arms," as Sam mentioned up top. And look, this might be a little left of center, but to my ear, when I sat down and heard it for the first time, it really felt like that kind of '90s alt pop that would have lived alongside like Harvey Danger or like Blind Melon or something like that. What's kind of I suppose like how did the track come to be? You mentioned like you had like a lot of different things that you listened to in there. So like kind of what influenced the sound?
Yeah, so that song really it did when I was first writing it and I first sort of had the chords floating around, it was just like it felt so much like that sort of like I don't know, kind of like Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead or like sort of a bit Oasisy even. Like it felt very 90s, very sort of really optimistic and sweet sounding. And I actually hated it. I was really like I was in a place where I was really not like I had been working on music for a little while that was getting poppier because I became interested in like pop music and pop structures and stuff like that. I just thought it would be a good thing to like figure out and sort of work my way into. Um, and I was sort of the tail end of that, and I was into writing something a little bit weirder. And that one came up, and I was like, oh, it's like this fucking thing again. And then a couple of weeks later, I met my girlfriend, who we've been together for almost 7 years now. And uh, I got the song. I was like, oh, this is like a love song, you know, like this feels like I want to listen to this kind of music all the time. It actually reminded me of songs that she would play for me to listen to, and I was like, oh my god, it's like one of those. So I but it was also, you know, it was just like the feeling of just like falling in love, I guess, which is um, I just kind of leaned into it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna lean into it because that's how I feel right now, and I love that this song feels so like movie like and romantic, I guess. I finally got it. Yeah.
He finally understands love, and that's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to be all like cynical and like edgy and stuff. And then, you meet someone who's just like all of that edge and like cynicism and stuff just sort of I was like, ah, fuck that. I'm like holding hands on the beach, you know. That's the kind of music I want to write right now. Yeah.
Well, it is. It's the first single since you dropped the Slipstream EP at the back end of last year. I mean, that EP it was chock full of like amazing melodies and layers of harmony, and it really set the tone, I suppose, for like Chuck Sics as a project. What
Thank you.
what was kind of the sonic blueprint that you had in mind to introduce yourself to the world with this project? You know, it came out so fully formed.
I basically just wanted to rip off Lunarism by Tame Impala, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know, like kind of. I don't know. I really, there's definitely a lot of Radiohead in that as well. And in my teens, those two bands slash solo artists were pretty much all I listened to. Um, discovering Tame Impala was like pretty cool because I was like, oh, it's just one guy, which means I guess I could do that too. Um, you know, hubris, my old friend. Um, and and so, it was very inspiring. I don't know, I really wanted to get kind of like a lot of, I don't know. I was really inspired by just sort of like the concepts that he was working with, like the whole idea of like Inner Speaker being just like an album where he's just sort of like opening his mouth and the music's coming out, like just getting it all out of his brain. And I was also at a time where I had a lot of music in my brain that I was excited to get out when I was writing that stuff. So when I went back to record it and release it years later properly, um, I was listening to that stuff again and, going back to what music I loved at the time that I wrote it to help me sort of get it across the line, I think.
So in 10 years' time, you're saying that the goal is to be
Did you know it's just one guy?
me?
That is exactly what I'm hoping for. Except I'm hoping that no longer it is just one guy. I really want to collaborate more with my band. Um, Basically, I think that would be much more fun and a lot easier as well. Really hard to do it all on your own, and it's really annoying. I literally just tried to fucking mix something today, and I can't even do that alone without going insane. So that's supposed to be the easiest bit to do alone, but not for me. Oh well.
Not today. So speaking of Tame Impala, you're the sole musician behind all your instrumentation on the tracks, like everything from the beats, guitars, synths, vocals, all of it. I'm interested to know what your musical background is and tell us a little bit about the previous bands, because I can only assume Chuck Six isn't the first sort of exploration into music for you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I yeah, there are other bands. I had a band in 20, well, actually from 2014. Actually started off as a bit of a joke band. We were called Spilt Milk. And then a year later there was a festival called Spilt Milk, so we broke up.
Yeah.
Um, we were like,
Legal
nah, we're
shit,
never
yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lawyers, and you know what it's like. But and that was, that kind of continued through kind of like we didn't actually break up. I actually just sort of like kind of kicked out people and then brought new people in and then tried to make that work and recorded and released a couple of songs under that name that were uh, it was supposed to be a band, but everything was recorded by me and this drummer that I was working with at the time. And then right before sort of COVID happened, I sort of was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go and do like the solo guy thing because I had been learning how to mix and getting better at producing and arranging overall. And I was sort of keen to like work a bit faster and streamline things and sort of I was also keen to be like an egomaniac and say that I'd done everything. Basically, I was really keen on that. But Yeah, so kind of did that for a while, and then COVID hit, and then I released a song under a different solo name which I will not disclose. And
Tame
now
Impala.
here we are. Yeah. Yeah. And now here we are. I am now me. I'm called me. My name is Chuck Sics. But as for like my musical background, my first instrument was trumpet,
Nice.
um, which is a weird one to start on. But it actually was like I literally just thought of this now. It's amazing how thoughts come to you, huh? Um, it was really like it actually because trumpet is so physically like it's really painful to start with. Most instruments are like guitar is painful to start with. Drums are somewhat painful because you end up getting like muscle soreness and that sort of thing. But like trumpet is like kind of like it's intrusively painful. Like it's on your face, and in your
Yeah.
fingers and stuff. And it was like it sort of taught me that like like it was difficult and like painful, and that sort of meant to me that like it became something that I wanted to really strive to overcome, like because people would say, oh, it won't hurt in like a year or it won't hurt in like 6 months. And so I kind of, as I picked up like piano and then guitar from that, like I kind of had that sort of like I'm not trying to say the trumpet is like the peak of like a painful instrument, but in terms of like the breath and like the your lips feeling sore and all of that stuff, like it felt particularly painful, and I think that was something that kind of excited me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like calluses on my fingers after a little while of playing guitar and that sort of thing. I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, once I picked up guitar, it was kind of over. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, Led Zeppelin, let's go.
Yeah.
um Before that, I was really keen on being a classical pianist. Um, Funnily enough,
Right.
thought that was where I was headed, but
Okay.
I didn't have the look, so I had to give it up.
What sort of like who are your go-to composers? Who are we talking?
I was really into Rachmaninoff, uh, basically because I heard that he composed one of the hardest piece to perform on piano. You guys ever seen that movie Shine? I think it's called.
No.
It's about David Helfgott, an Australian classical pianist who I think had a heart attack performing that piece.
Fuck.
So
Um,
naturally, like, fuck it. I'm gonna nail this thing.
I was like, I'm going to be the first guy to do it without having a heart attack. Um,
You moved to Rack City.
no,
Let's
that's
go.
yeah. No, that's quite callous, actually. I don't know. When I was young, I was very, very interested in like those sort of otherworldly sort of challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
I really was just like, yeah, I can do that. If someone can do it, then so can I.
It's a
Which is
good way to think.
it's a very fortunate sort of mindset to have.
Hmm.
Um, Luckily, I had that, instilled in me, I suppose. It's good.
Well, you've mentioned previously that you started playing around with songwriting as young as 10 or 11, and it's almost as if, learning instruments and songwriting were working hand in hand. We're sure you have, hundreds, if not thousands of songs by now. Are there any tracks or, lyrics that you've potentially written at a young age that you've gone back and tweaked as you're sort of in the studio now?
Oh, wow. I wouldn't say there's anything as early as what I was writing when I was 10. Uh, but there have been things from when I was like 15,
Yeah.
16. that I have used, like certain ideas. I wouldn't say lyrics, almost definitely not lyrics. Those are the first to go. Anytime, I mean, I could write lyrics a week ago, and they're the first to go if I go and work on them now. So not happening. Um, I should just do instrumental music. That's a good idea. Anyway, but yeah, musical ideas, like musical ideas for sure. I mean, there are songs on the EP that on Slipstream that are at this point 10 years old. So
Wow.
from when I was like 16. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, I I I kind of just keep track of all the ones that I think are good enough, and I think like you learn from. Okay, so like, Radiohead, for example, they had songs that they would do live performances of in the 90s, and then they didn't come out until like the 2010s, and they sounded completely different to the live version. And I think like that, that idea has always fascinated me. Like there is a musical quality within every song that can kind of exist in whatever kind of clothes you put it in, really. I'm really open to musical ideas, at least. Lyrics, get out of here. I don't want
Get
them.
out of there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned before about you've done a lot of production and songwriting, solo and sort of working on this by yourself, and now you want to kind of move into a space where you're more collaborative with the band and with other artists. I suppose for someone who's been in a world of bringing your vision to life by yourself, what does that look like for opening up to collaboration? Is that something where you're going to feel hemmed in by other people, that you need to change the way you work? Like how's that transition going to go for you?
That's a really good question. I've sort of done it a little bit to the point where, like, like for Arms, for example, like that is the first song I put out that has drums played by an actual drummer on it. The EP was all sort of programmed, um, you know, drums, and I was really keen to sort of get in the studio with my drummer and wonderful friend River Langford. Shout out Bindere, free Bindere. Um, Someone will get that, I'm sure. But I was really keen because he's such a fantastic drummer, and he's like sort of lightning in a bottle. Well, actually, he's lightning outside of the bottle. You've got to bring the bottle and sort of like catch it. And I was really keen to work with him because I love the way that he drums, and I wanted his style on the song. And that was a really exciting sort of thing for me because um, it really uplifted the song overall. There's so much that can change. I think 90% of my whole music production career has just been mixing drums, to be honest. And I'm fascinated by it. It's great. And seriously, like I had some demo drums for the song. And then when we recorded the live ones, I was like, oh my God, like this is something else completely. And so, I would like to be sort of like producing musicians, like sort of going, how about you try that sort of thing, like this sort of fill here, like see if that works or if that feels natural, like working with what the musician, like how they feel the instrument and what feels natural to them, and also sort of taking that on as a writer of parts, and finding a really cool combination and a meeting in the middle of those two. I think that way you just like, it's quite literally the thing of like two minds are greater than one. Two minds are greater than one. Oh yeah, holy crap! If only I had another mind when I was saying that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited to. I have such a great band at the moment. Hopefully forever, not just at the moment, but I have such a great band. And I love their ideas when we translate these songs into the live performance, and getting that with newer music onto an actual record would be amazing. I kind of wish the EP sounded like the way we play it live now, which is sad. But also really exciting for the next stuff.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you mention River Langford and the drumming, because I like River Langford's music a bit more sort of, I suppose, jazzy would probably be a way to describe it, like indie jazzy kind of sound. And the drums on Arms have that kind of complexity, that kind of jazzy complexity. There's a lot of ghost notes in there. It's feeling very, layered in terms of like how the drums are coming together. I suppose when you work with an artist like that, where you're going, cool, this is a different direction that we haven't gone in, does that kind of change? Do you go back to square one for somewhat with the song and go, how's this going to layer in with the other layers that I've built in?
Well, kind of. I mean, we've both played together so much that I kind of know. I know a lot of what he can do, and so I actually factor that in. Like I factored it in when I was writing the EP drum parts, because I knew how he played, and there were actually some fills of his in there. Like things and ways of playing. Honestly, like the sound of that EP is in huge debt to him, because when he started playing my music, the way I heard him play it was so revitalizing to the music itself. So that really helped me get that EP over the line. It's never just like all from one head, like it's not that, like I heard him play that stuff like that, and I was like trying to recreate that in some parts, So we're at this point now, the two of us, I think, where we kind of are already pretty close to meeting in the middle before we even get into the room to record. Like what I've written and what I expect him to do and what I expect him to play is just as in link with him, what he expects me to write and what he expects me to expect him to play, And then when he's coming up with ideas on the fly, it's like, I'm like, great, that's in the exact space that I want it to be in. That's great. Good work. So, and he's just the kind of drummer who can do all of that. He can do so many different styles. He is known for playing with like a lot of jazzier artists like Yasmina Siddiqui from Sydney, who's fantastic. And he's got his own little like sort of 5-piece improv jazz kind of instrumental band called Hey Love. They're super cool. And it's I don't know, it works. It's great. I love that stuff too, and I love working little bits of it into my indie pop music to make it sound smart.
Just for the record, I just want to shout out to those listening with the audio medium exclusively. There was a little jazzy head nod when you said that too.
Sorry, I forgot to keep the listeners in loop with what's happening on the video. Thank you for catching me up on that, Sam. I appreciate that. I'll try and do better.
We'll catch it in the audio description. It's fine.
Yeah,
we will.
We'll do a director's commentary or something like that.
Speaking about bringing it to the live scene and how the band's been playing it, you had obviously a few shows towards the end of last year with things like South by Southwest in Sydney. You've had the residency at Pleasure Club just last month in February. How has it been translating, the songs from the live stage, to the live stage from the solo production process? How has that gone?
Oh, I couldn't be happier with it. Like, it's been really good. It makes the songs sound more exciting. I mean, we had some trouble with a couple of them, and I think that's only natural. That's the other thing, is like when you do sort of program all the drums and play everything sort of one by one when you're recording it, like it means that it sounds and feels a bit weird sometimes when you first play it with a band, especially when everyone plays really differently, but we kind of learn to lean into that, because that's what makes it a live version, and so it's been really fun sort of like changing things about the arrangements a little bit and changing structures and changing melodies and all of that stuff. Like it's I love it. It's great. And I think it's been going pretty well so far. I hope.
Said with confidence.
You'll have to call up an audience member and gotcha me. And they're like, it was a terrible show. What are you talking about? I'm like, caught off guard. But I think everyone's been pretty happy so far. I don't know.
I'm sure they would be. I think
I hope
have
so.
confidence. Say it with
I hope
confidence.
so. Yeah. I know
speaking-
everyone's been happy so far. Sorry. Anyway.
No, that's better. That's better. That's what we
Yeah.
need. Well, speaking of live shows, are there any other live shows on the horizon at this point? Will you be bringing the band anywhere outside of Sydney? What can you tell us?
We're playing our first out-of-state show. We're playing in Melbourne. We're playing at the Old Bar,
Nice.
which is very exciting. It's funny. Pretty much everyone in my band has been out of state on like a tour or for a show, except for me, because they're all professional musicians who do that. So it's exciting. They're taking me along this time, which is cool. So we'll be playing the Old Bar in Melbourne, 26th of March. I'm really excited for that. I don't think they've announced it properly yet. I think it's one of those like last minute announced things. I'm sure it's not a problem that I've just said that. It's not like this is like a Marvel movie or something that I'm spoiling.
Kevin
It's pretty
Feige's
chill.
coming for you, man.
Yeah. I'm fired. Yeah, well, I never had the job in the first place, so bite me.
And
Yeah.
before we let you go, you mentioned you were mixing all day today.
Mm.
It would be remiss of us to ask, could we expect some new music on the horizon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as soon as I get out of my own head and see this for what it actually is, instead of like a weird glob of like weird sounds that it sounds like right now. Yeah, there's more music for sure. I've got an album kind of in the background that I've been working on quietly, and little bits here and there. I'm really ready to like go full pelt into like making an album, and do it in like 2 weeks or something. Like, do it in 2 weeks, and that's so unrealistic, but I can dream, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Just to get it done in 2 weeks.
It's one of those challenges. Someone's done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone has done it, that means I can do it too. Great point, Max. Wonderful. That gives me a lot of confidence.
Arms is the latest single from Chuck Sics, so go listen in wherever you get your music. Otherwise, revisit the Slipstream EP from last year, and by the sounds of it, hang tight for some new music. And if you're in Melbourne on March 26th, head to the Old Bar, catch Chuck Sics live. Chuck Sics, thanks for jumping in the show and having a chat to us today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been real fun.